Come on down, gang. Come on down. Come on down. We're going to figure out how to heal our emotions. It's going to be great. I promise. Let's go. Get in here. Come on down, everybody. We're going to figure out how to get a little better angle here. That's better. Is that better? That's better for me. Was it better for you? Let's talk about healing our shit. Getting over all that pain of life. Getting in our moments. Figuring out how to unpack our traumas and stuff like that. What's up? Hello. Welcome. Get on in here. Where are you guys checking in from? I don't normally go on at 10:42 in the morning, but here we are. Zach, what are you doing here? You only show up at night. Well, then again, I only show up at night. So here we are. You know. Here we are, everybody. Talking about emotions and stuff yet again. You know, yet again. But hey, emotions are just feelings. Feelings of life, just like everything else. You're feeling all this other shit. You're feeling this little bowl dinging in your ear. Like, ooh. Gives me a little tingle, you know? It's kind of like an emotion. You don't necessarily have a concept tied to this thing, other than maybe a good feeling of listening to it before and us talking about things. But the same way we feel everything else in life, all of the other energies of life, is tied to some type of context. This is the way your nervous system works. It's the way the learning events works. I can talk, I swear. It's how we learn stuff. You know, you have an experience at one point. Hello, squashed marshmallow. I'll put it over here so I can see these comments better. We always have an experience. A learning experience is this. Neurons fire together and they wire together. You have a context. We could use a maybe relationship. That's an easy one. Ever had one of those? And we have a partnership relationship, maybe dating, maybe married, maybe whatever. And that thing blows up. And here's all this pain. The neurons wire together. The context neurons wire up with the pain neurons. So then you get out of that relationship, and you get over it, and your pain's not there anymore. Here's the context of relationship. And you go get in a new relationship over here, and because the way the neurons wire together in your body, when they fire together, they wire together originally, and so now you get into that context again, and here comes the pain. It all feels like the same thing. Your nervous system has learned a way of being. It has learned a memory. It has learned a concept of feeling. And just like all of our other emotions and our feelings, they are all contextual. They are all bonded to something or another. Now, you can have some, obtuse feeling like listening to the bowl. What's up, Gluten Morgan? I can do this. Olympia. Gluten. Not gluten. I got totally distracted. Oh, the context of like this bowl doesn't have anything to it, though it's an energy, right? It's an actual frequency. The edge of the lip is vibrating at a particular rate. It's banging around air molecules. It's coming through the speaker to you. That's a frequency. That's a kind of like a feeling, an energy that you're picking up through your senses, but it's not triggering you. It's not triggering you to feel a certain way. Guten Tag. Good morning. Yes. It's not triggering you to feel a certain way because this is not tied to any particular pain. Now, if you had been locked up in a room and kept in there against your will and tortured or something like that, and all you heard was this bowl ring, the only thing you would ever feel when this bowl rang is the same feelings of the nervous system from that context, right? That's kind of an extreme example. But right now, this isn't bonded to anything. You just hear this nice mellow sound. Your nervous system picks it up. Your sensory processing picks it up. You hear it. And then the ear bone pokes you in the brain spot. And your brain goes, oh, I know what that is. That's nice. But if you're programmed through trauma or something horrible in your nervous system where you were stuck in a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response and all you heard was this bowl, you would have a context in your nervous system, where when you hear the bowl, doink, it triggers your nervous system. It triggers you into a survival mechanism. Do I think cats have healing energy? I mean, yeah, sometimes. I think so. Cats are real attuned to people. They always know what's up. You know, like they're these instinctual beings, and they have similar nervous system to us and bonding and things like that. And they, you know, will kind of tribe up or bond with a person. And so when they feel you off, it's just like anybody when you're in a good state. You know, cats don't have an ego, they're just feeling beings. So if you're keeping them in a good feeling state, when they feel you off, then they automatically want to help you. They automatically will come over there and, well, maybe some of them are dicks, but I've known a lot of them to be very helpful in that regard. Like they know when you're feeling down, and they'll come over there and try to vibe you back into shape. Good afternoon, morning from Hudson Valley, New York. Yeah. I had a emotional alchemy call that I had to reschedule. So I had one that was going to be a little bit earlier. So I was like, hey, I'm going to jump on a live here and help some people heal their emotions since I don't have a client right now, which is cool. Is my head and heart feeling connected? How is your head and heart feel? Yes and yes. I generally, talking like that, I generally don't even lead from my head. I just let that sort of process things. I stay in heart and felt sensation of all of the things instead of into the head of the ego and the concepts and the understanding of the way things should be. So I just kind of perceive everything as a feeling. And then my head space is that's just use that to help process the heart, you know. Hello, Providence, Rhode Island. Certain plants, animals, and humans. Yep. Have I ever listened to Read Out Earth? No, I have not. But maybe I should. All right. So we're talking about feelings, right? Emotions, energies, all of the things going through us. And everything, guys, is a big old energy ball. Like the whole fucking thing. It's incredible. Like if you understand how the electromagnetic spectrum works, like everything, like go like this. Did you feel those little air molecules you're whacking around? You can feel that on your skin. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. You're breathing them. You just do not have the senses attuned to perceive that energy. It's non-visible. But it's still there. Like you can move your hand rapidly. I feel air molecules as wind, perceiving them as what I would perceive of as wind on my hand right now. But nothing's there. But somehow something's vibrating a particular frequency to create a particular molecule, which is suspended all around us. We are constantly surrounded and shrouded and bombarded by radio waves of every type and variety, from television to radio to cop radios to those little click-to-talk walkie-talkie things, to cell phones, to television signals, or UHF and VHF and all of the other stuff. So there's this constant field of energy everywhere. All of it is energy. You are made of nothing but energy. Your atoms, at the lowest structure of them, the subatomic level, is nothing but energy. Like we can't even perceive that as form. It doesn't happen. It's nothing but buzzing energy held together through magnetic attraction. And so all those feelings you have are nothing but energy pulsing through you. All of those emotions you have are nothing but electrochemical sensations pulsing through your body. And these are done through changing neural receptivity, how your neurons actually talk to each other. That is your lens of understanding. And so when you get into a context and you get conditioned to feel a certain way based on an experience, based on a context, could be a focused context, could just be life in general, you learn and you get conditioned to feel a certain way about it. And then your perspective is that things are this way because it feels that way. And that's exactly the ego, to say things are this way when the things are all the ways, all the time. Nothing but buzzing energy with a mathematical possibility to be anything on the atomic level. So we take those things, we read them, and we say, oh, you're doing this to me. You're making me feel this way. And really, it's us making us feel that way based on our nervous system comprehension of the world around us. All of our senses coming in, feeling all of the energies that we're used to feeling all the time, but we do not perceive. Just like there's air molecules that we don't think about it, we just breathe them in. Breathe in that little air energy, those little buzzing atoms, creating molecules of oxygen, hydrogen, and many others. But we still use it, we feel it. Maybe in a different way than you comprehend feeling it. Oh, I'm going to feel this air. But your body feels it. Gives you all the oxygen. Nothing rubbed off. Harvard for 6 years. I didn't get through any college. I couldn't do it. It was boring as shit. What's up, Portland? How you doing? So the human experience is all about that. The feeling, it's a feeling experience. The whole thing is feeling. You can't even have a concept without a feeling. Like, you can conceptualize love. Like, what is love? And you're like, oh, love it's like a feeling in your body. If you think through love without any of the associated feelings, it's like this nothingness. You're like a robot thinking about love. There's no feelings involved. Or I could ask you to feel a foozle right now. Everybody feel a foozle. Do it. Feel it, motherfuckers. You can't, right? I just made that word up. It's just a dumb word I made up. You can't feel what a foozle feels like because it doesn't exist. There's nothing tying your nervous system to the concept. And the concepts are all of your ego. The concepts are your understanding of the way things should be. And those are the things that separate you from the experience of all, experience of God, experience of humanity in its whole, in its entirety. The feeling of the cat that someone was mentioning. It separates you from the whole. It's the original sin, the knowledge of good and evil. I know what's right. Things are this way. My concept says it's right. Meanwhile, everybody's feeling all the same feelings, all of the same energies, and we just perceive them differently through our lens of understanding. Love you too. Hope you're having a good day. Foozle sounds jaggy, right? Why do you think we're here on this earth? I don't know. That's why we're here. Maybe all it is perceived understanding. And as we look farther out into space and build a larger telescope, we perceive more space. And we say, the universe is constantly expanding. Well, when it comes down to the nature of subatomic particles, they adjust their little selves, all those muons and the nuons and things like that. They adjust themselves in the quarks to be in a configuration that they are to create the electromagnetic spin of the atoms around, or the electrons around the atom. They adjust themselves based on your expectation. They go, boop, I'm here, quantum tunnel. They spin this way and they spin that way all at the same time. They do all sorts of crazy shit that we don't understand. But it's all based on what you expect out of them. So if you expect there to be more space and more space and more space, you build a bigger telescope, there will be some more space out there. You got more? Oh, there's some more. I'll find more. You expect there to be more. So it manifests in that moment of existence. So we get ourselves all worked up into anxiety of like, oh, there's so much. How can I just, what is the meaning of here on earth? And what is the concept of here on earth? What is the thing? All in the head. When the whole thing is just an experience that you're having. And your point of perception creates that experience. Yeah? Stash it on point. That's good. Been working on it. Every day I do this. And I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you handsome motherfucker. Helps for self-love. Whoa, 111 roses. We've got some angel fart numbers up in this bitch. Feelings come and go. Love is a choice. Well, your concept of what love is. But if you choose to feel that love, love can be described so many different ways because, it's like, I love pizza and I love my kids. And I think I probably wouldn't die for pizza, but easy day for the kids. So, it's kind of a shit show when it comes to the concepts. Words are kind of wind because they only mean what they mean to the person that they mean something to. So there's the love of the feeling of love, that feeling of acceptance, of being seen. And then there's the giving of love, of accepting and seeing another. And love can only be a give, like offer myself to you because I appreciate you so much, or a receive. Thank you so much for offering to me. Because if you don't receive it, you do not allow the person to give. And if you don't give it, there is no possibility for reception. So it's nothing but a give or receive that we feel a certain way about. Then there's the choice part of being conscious. And when I don't feel that way, to realize, oh, this is the choice right here. I'm not accepting this person as they are. I am not loving them. I choose to accept them as they are in every moment. So that's the choice part of love. But love is a concept that is felt. Singularity is now, yeah, you probably look at it that way. But that's also a construct of the ego, to say this is the way it is. Can you talk about self-love in the sense of keeping your own boundaries, showing them, expressing? Abso-fucking-lutely. You're watching it from the moon. Good. Good, good. Wait. Damn, where did I go? Here we go. Talk about self-love in the sense of keeping boundaries, showing them, expressing them. There's kind of different concepts mixed in there. Self-love is acceptance of everything you are in your moment. To realize, oh, and it's that sort of observer state of moving outside of the experience to just experience the experience. Oh, here I am feeling things. Here's energies of life happening. But I do not become that thing. I do not buy into that thing. I do not demand everybody else around me answer for the way that I feel. So self-love is to change those negative sensations of how you feel and how you perceive yourself, the concepts of how you feel about yourself. To work through those subconscious memories, feelings, things you learned in childhood, things you learned in your development, in utero, things you learned from your family of origin through the genetics that they passed down through you. Just like you're feeling, your face looks a little bit like your parents and a little bit like your grandparents. Your feelings feel a little bit like your parents and a little bit like your grandparents, just by the nature of genetics and energy and the way things work. So, self-love is to come to a space of acceptance of self, to realize that you're in a perfect process and that nothing is wrong with you. Keeping your own boundaries comes naturally when you know exactly who you are through self-love and acceptance. When some bullshit comes your way that has nothing to do with you, there's nothing that reflects off you, and you go, oh, okay, cool bullshit, bro. And there's a boundary. And you hold your own energy of exactly who you desire to be. You don't buy into that, and then if something does hit you and you feel negative about yourself, oh, this person doesn't like me, you realize, oh, wait, that's me perceiving myself like that. And that's me dropping my boundaries of buying into that energy. And so if I use that wound inflicted upon me to find out why I would feel that way, then you can reprogram the way you feel. Most of the time, boundaries, when it says, you have to be this way for me to be okay, is non-acceptance. That's a judgment of others, and it's non-acceptance of self. Hey there, how do I turn the dial to another frequency? Oh, well, that's a concept of the ego, which is okay. That's how we do the human experience. But that's exactly what I was just talking about in the setting your energy, your internal boundaries of knowing yourself. So if you want to turn the dial proverbially to change the energy of your feelings, to change your frequency, and when we talk about frequencies, we're talking about hertz, which are literal energies, the way that electrons flow, things like that. And that's the part people don't really understand. That's okay. To change your frequency effectively, what that means in the human experience is to change your attitude, change the way you feel about stuff, to accept. I personally just like moving towards love, moving towards acceptance of all things, because all things are all things. And it's like the blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. When you accept that all things are all things, and you're in this meek state of like, yep, that's a thing, then you're not triggered by anything, and all of it is yours, and you get to play in whatever energy you desire and be anybody that you desire to be, you know. I do love Alan Watts. Alan Watts is the jam. Reality is way too loose right now. Reality? The fuck you talking about? Bunch of buzzing atoms? Tiny little space fart on a little rock in an infinite void? Creating it in your very moment with no past. Like, go ahead, box it up. Take all your past and box it up and send it to my house, right? I will send you this shirt right off my back. Because you can't do it. It doesn't exist, but in your head. As electromagnetic chemical sensation within your body and your head, in your nervous system, in your perception, in your ego, the way you understand things to be. So, your reality as you perceive it, what this must be what reality is literally the original sin, your separation from the whole, by demanding it be this way. Perception by reception. Everyone receives only as much as they can perceive. Yeah. Yeah. And also what you've been programmed to receive. But yes, effectively exactly what you said. We get neurologically conditioned to be attuned to the energies of the world around us based on our conditioning, our upbringing, and things like that. So that's kind of the human experience. And this iteration of you-ness, as you perceive yourself right now in energy, to realize that you are just here in this beauty, and all the good shit's there and all the bad shit's there. And anything that you're feeling as negative is something within. Moon Master. Are we all going to the same place? Or we are all in the same place. Mary, super lag. We're all in the same place. Doesn't change. You're only in a moment, perceiving of everything outside of a moment. How important is your environment? I mean, air is nice. Keeps the body working, you know? Sunlight. The environment energetically. It's easy to... I mean, your environment affects everything. Like, that is the energy of everything around you. So you go out in the woods, and you go out in an ashram or something like that, it's real easy to have peace, you know? Take some drugs, do some psychedelics, you know, so assuming you're not moving some bad energies through and some emotions and things like that. It's real easy to have peace. Breaks your ego, breaks your concepts of the way things should be. But how do you be in the world and not of it? Like Jesus was talking about. How do you be around all of the energy of life and not take part in some bullshit way of, oh, this is the way it has to be, to drop your ego and to just be? How do you feel all of the beauty that is around you in the midst of the chaos? I guess that's a life experience, and that's the moment of arrival when you realize you can just do that, and all of it is you feeling the way that you feel about everything that is. So the environment, you know, you can create an optimal environment for peace in one tiny little regard, but when all of the things are a thing, all of the energies of life, every bit of humanity, all of the light, all of the dark, and they require each other to exist. You cannot have light without darkness. There's nothingness as you perceive it. Say, environment's important, but don't limit yourself to the whole. When you've experienced some horrible shit, the beautiful stuff is more beautiful. So don't always run away from pain, because that pain is just your perception of the way things must be. And it's just the inverse pole of the beauty. How do you reconcile yourself with self-abandonment? Well, after self-abandonment, you realize you're in this moment. And you're aware. And you start changing how you feel about yourself. And you stop dropping those judgments. You say, I'm going to drop this. And then when you drop that judgment, you say, I can't drop this because of this. Well, the because of this part is the story that you've been telling yourself, that you've been feeling yourself. This is stuff as an advertisement for my services, which is why I'm on live right now, because I had a cancellation. I do emotional alchemy with people, teaching them to feel a new way, to find all of those old stories and things that you've been feeling in yourself this whole time. Negative self-belief systems, stuff like that. Help you work down into those and reprogram them in your human experience so you can feel a new way. You can create a new feeling set, which gives you a new mindset. Oh yeah, strategies to heal past traumas or fearful avoidance. Come to me. Come sign up for an emotional alchemy session. That is exactly what we do. Help people walk through those things and come to a space of being outside of how you've perceived life to be in your nervous system. It's healing subconscious stories. It's undoing negative self-belief systems that you're not even consciously aware of because they're in your subconscious. They are in your feeling system, not in your brain waves that you perceive of reality with. But when you put your focus and awareness on them, you get down in there, they come up to your alpha waves of consciousness. Old memories, things that have been burnt out from trauma, things that have been synaptically pruned during your REM cycles of sleep, all of the emotions that you failed to deal with, or you said, I will not deal with this. I will not feel this. That emotion is connected to conscious memories, and those conscious memories get cut out just like you cut out the feelings. And you no longer have access to them. They're just stuck in your body as feelings. Why is everything that is particularly the way everything is? Well, your perception of the way it is the way it is. And as you perceive it, therefore it is. And when you get down into the subatomic particle level, when you perceive it to be one way, those little quarks and those muons and those nuons adjust themselves to be in a particular configuration to create a particular atomic field, which attracts itself to another atom, which creates molecules, which creates all the building blocks of life in an instant, in the moment. So as you perceive it to be a way, why is everything particularly this way or that way? Then it is. When it is all the things, and a mathematical possibility to be anything. It is so simple and yet so stressful. The stress is the feelings of your nervous system. The stress are your old limiting self-belief systems. The stress are those energetic concepts within you that maybe are not connected to memories. Stress is a neuroreceptor. Stress is cortisol. It is a feeling, a contextual feeling. Things must be stressful, so we are stressful until we can reprogram those things into being in the moment. Can you explain emotional alchemy versus therapy with focus on mindfulness? Yeah, absolutely. Emotional alchemy, and I mean, as an advertisement for the services, I've had many people be like, after one session, they're like, I went to therapy for 10 years. One guy's like, I spent $60,000 on therapy. It's like, he's like, I never learned this, you know? It's like, yeah, because it's different. It's not talk therapy. Talk therapy, and with therapists, it's like, I'm going to talk you out of your ego, and then you can have my ego. You can do it this way. Emotional alchemy is going much deeper in that. It's a meta level of feeling into your experience and connecting these old, repressed memories, connecting why you feel that way, seeing the patterns in your life to when you were conditioned to feel a certain way and how they have played out in your entire life and the things that you attract and the things that you create in every single moment. So emotional alchemy is feeling deeply into negative sensations and experiences, feeling into the energies of the body, feeling into all of those pits in the stomach and hurt in the heart and the anxiety and the tension and all of the things your body tells you that we've not been trained to feel. And then those things are connected to the concepts. And then once you go through the portal of pain, feeling it, going through your old bullshit, feeling those feelings that you felt as a child in that moment of abuse or moment of whatever that created that negative self-story of feeling. In that moment of pain, it is an injection of cortisol within the system, which floods the entire system, including the brain and everything like that. It opens up neuroplasticity, and it allows you to create a new learning event, to take this old context, which was bonded to pain, and place it here and bond it with a new feeling set. So it is alchemizing those old bullshit feelings into a new way of being. I told myself to be worried for my ankle 2 weeks after I broke my ankle. I didn't listen to my inner. Oh, yeah. Don't ever tell yourself you're going to get fucked. You'll end up doing it. Yep. Guys, just take over. Take over what? My therapist has been slowly training me to feel those things in my body. Is there a time someone may not be ready for emotional alchemy? The only people that are not ready for it are the people that just aren't ready for it. Most of the time, almost every single time. If somebody's real skeptical and they're not willing to rest into the experience, then it doesn't really work that great. But because it's all you feeling your own thing, so you can block your stuff. Yeah, you're ready for emotional alchemy because you got me to walk you through, or the lovely Sarah to walk you through it. You just feel it with you. Let you know that it's okay to feel that thing. Like, we felt all kinds of shit. I will feel your feelings in my body as you're doing it. Sarah, the same. And then when you have someone else there, really truly empathizing, energetically feeling it with you, you're like, oh, I'm safe. Okay, and then you can reprogram. That's part of the magic of it. How do you feel about tarot? I like them. I think they're neat. I got some right here. I always use the book because I don't remember the cards. But they're neat. I like traditional Rider-Waite tarot. There's the Emperor. He's one of the guys. So what's cool about it is it's all your perception, right? Your inner self wants to know the answer to something. And I'll put some cards out. I'm going to feel them. Maybe I'll just feel them. Sniff them, burn some sage. And maybe one will fall out, and that's the one I wanted. And you ascribe meaning to it. And then when you look at it, you go, damn. Oh, 6 of Wands upside down. Looks like some conquest or something like that with all those people. But maybe things are fucked because it's upside down. And you give it a meaning based on the way you look at it, the way you perceive it. So it kind of helps you sort out your own subconscious with some sort of heuristic centering device. It's looking within to see. And the beautiful thing is it gives you an affirmative statement. Here's a King of Pentacles upside down. Man, what does that mean to me? Damn, that does feel like something within me. How am I going to be a new way? So it gives you this definitive statement, like you can be this or you can be not this. And then it's up to you to decide. And as soon as you decide, you create your reality. So tarot's a kind of fun little tool. Not the magic about it. It's just some cute cards. Yeah, you didn't listen to your warning, inner self. Correct. No, I was tracking with you, Adam. I'm sorry about your ankle. Is emotional alchemy helpful for coping mechanisms with current recurring trauma? Absolutely. Yes. It's all about unpacking those traumas. It's all about changing the way you feel to no longer bring those things back into your life, to no longer bring those back into your field. It's great. I like the guidance and clarity it brings to the question. Also, the drawings are so cool to interpret. Yeah, I think tarot is really fun. It's but the guidance is within. The guidance is how you are perceiving it, which is fine because it's all your experience anyway. Me, you, I am. That's right, war hippie. Absolutely. Here we are, doing we and I am. All that we, I amness, Can't get away from it. So anyway, think of all those feelings as programming. You had a context based on a certain event which caused some pain or maybe caused some joy. It's like, when you see your dog, you're like, oh my God, I love you, because the dog just loves you. Maybe you have a dick of a dog, so that would be a horrible example. Or a beloved grandma, and anytime you think of that grandma, you're like, oh. The context of that grandma was self-acceptance of you, of love. The context of that dog is love. They just fucking love you. They're doing dog stuff, They're like love machines. And so then you have a context of when you think of that entity, that dog, that grandma, whatever, you feel love. You feel a concept. Or maybe you conceptualize a feeling. Okay. For all the same being, why is there uncomfortable feelings? Just because of the nature of energy. Waveforms, the way that energies align. And you have to have some discomfort without comfort. Or we have to have comfort. We have to have some discomfort to have comfort. It's all there. All of the poles of it are there to every extreme. And it's your ego that says this pole is right and or that pole is right and this is correct and that's wrong. And that's your separation from God. That's your original sin. I know. What's your belief on the extra-dimensional beings? Energy's a thing, and you're conceptualizing all of the electromagnetic spectrum through a very tiny, narrow lens of understanding. So when you feel some, extra-dimensional or interdimensional being, you feel some energy, you perceive of it a certain way through your ego and your lens of understanding. There's all sorts of traditions of light beings and things like that. Angels. In Judeo-Christianity. You go take a bunch of DMT and go into this light being world where you're perceiving all the energy because it just knocks out all of your ego, all your precepts, your understandings of the way things should be, and all of a sudden you perceive other energy. You still got a little bit of your human experience left in there because you're still perceiving things kind of as a human. So you're not, your entire ego's knocked out. It's just pretty fucked up. And so then you feel an energy, and you go, "Oh, it's a light being. It's an angel. But that's still through your comprehension. And what is a light being? Even how you perceive of a light being. You only have access to this tiny little minutia of visible light, right? And then up towards the upper end of the spectrum, it turns white into this light being as you perceive of it. Why don't you think of like a black light being or a black hole, the inverse of light as light? It's all photons. Your ego just says, "Oh, this is like white light, heavenly being thing." And that's just a tiny little space fart on the electromagnetic spectrum of this giant, massive thing that is continually going back into itself. So you get up in there and go, "Oh, the light being is the way to be." And it's like, that's just one little space fart of it. Just a little blip. But you can perceive whatever you want through your ego. I sat with a guy a few nights ago in a very high state of psychosis. And he was perceiving a lot of different things. But he was just right here in a moment. And his mind was open, his energy was open to all of the feelings of everything, all of the possible, all of the infinite possibilities. And I drove him into a state of psychosis for a little while until we worked him through out of it, worked him out with some love. What do I think of EMDR? I think it's a good tool, but make sure you got a good therapist, because when you pull up those old emotions and those traumas and things like that, what happens is it crosses the median line of the brain and it forces the lobes to talk to each other, and it kind of energetically forces its way through the blocks that trauma have induced. It connects neural receptivity. And when those old feelings come up, it's the same thing. I don't do EMDR and emotional alchemy sessions. I do it in my own methodology. But when those big feelings come back up, you got to be feeling those feelings. You will be in that feeling set again for a moment to let them pass through you. So if your therapist cannot hold space for whatever you're feeling, find a different therapist, It's like puzzle after puzzle, though, right? And the puzzle, this must be a puzzle. I have to figure out the puzzle. I have to know where this goes and where that goes, is your little lens of understanding, your ego. And that's the same thing that separates you from enjoying the whole puzzle. And so it's fine to figure out the puzzle and try to figure it out. Try to figure it out as much as you can. Drive yourself fucking crazy. Go out to the infinite expanse of the end of the puzzle. In all blackness, just black pieces, teeny little ones that you can't even get together. You know, no idea where they go, and it just drives you nuts. And you realize, oh, here I am. I am. Take a fucking breath, Do you think the idea that there needs to be bad to appreciate good is an idea driven by capitalism? There's a lot of bullshit ideas driven by capitalism. And I think there's probably some flavor of that driven by capitalism. But maybe a need for it. Oh, you have to have some bad to get some good, Yeah, that's definitely a flare of capitalism. You got to work real hard if you ever want to be happy. Sort of vibes like that. But when it comes to that never-ending puzzle, because we're just reading the whole thing through a very narrow lens of understanding, you got to look at it and say, oh, the darkness defines the light. So is darkness as I conceive of as darkness? Or is darkness important for the light? What is the highest point of being in your perspective? Right here, motherfucker. Right here, in this moment. What else is there? I'm going to become a light being. I'm going to shove yet another crystal in my ass and rub some beads and wear a robe. Transcend into a beam of light. Meanwhile, that little beam of light you're thinking of is in the visible light spectrum. You can't even see infrared or ultraviolet or anything like that. You can't see microwaves. You can't see ultra-high frequencies. You can't see 5G. You can't see ultra-low frequencies. There's this massive scale of electromagnetic spectrum that goes back into itself. And you're perceiving of some higher point as beingness, when it's the original sin of perceiving that there is a higher point of being than being, which separates you from your beingness, to say, oh, I got to get here when you're right here, because here doesn't exist. I've been opened up, but I'm trying to rematerialize. Take a fucking breath, go hug a tree, you know? Like, just materialize onto this plane. You're in a meat suit in Earth School. Like, welcome to the shit show. Just live that. And once you learn to come to a space of acceptance of that, you realize that you're in it, and you are. And everything that you perceive of as better than this is a matter of ego. Because even our concepts of what is better avoid the things that create the betterness. We avoid the darkness to create the light, when the light does not exist without. I'm glad you burst into laughter. Glad you guys like it. Here is all that will ever be. Yeah, right? Stayed over your lunch to watch. Nice. Thanks. Oh, and an epic stash. Thank you. If you have a stash at home, might I recommend, what's that stuff called? Firehouse mustache wax. I just ran out of my first can of it, which I bought so many years ago. It was the oldest, crustiest little can, and I finally ran out. And I just opened a new can of it, which will probably last me another like 10 years. It's a teeny little can, and it just lasts forever. It's great. And it just, you can keep it, you know, because if you're going to rock a godlike stash, you know, because we know God had a mustache, not a fancy beard. You got to treat it right, you know. Like, there's self-love, and then there's mustache love. Like, it's important stuff, you guys. All right, what are your thoughts on a bad trip? Perceiving a negative, oh yeah. Thoughts on bad trips. Bad trips are always emotions that are opened up that you have been blocking out of your ego. This is literally what we do. I call emotional alchemy sessions like little mushroom trips, because it's like the same feeling of going into a bad trip and then passing through it, and the feeling of emotions, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh. A bad trip is opening, it's because all those psychedelics just knock out your ego, right? And then they open up neuroplasticity so you can make more connections. So they knock out your concepts of the way things should be, and they open you to different feelings that you can block out. These are the same feelings that are in your subconscious. And now, all of a sudden, all these old feelings of maybe some trauma or some bullshit you've been through and you've suppressed and is no longer in your active memory comes up. Oh, and then that concept comes up in some different way because your ego's messed up, you know, some scenario of fear. But when you release into that, I don't know if you've ever read Tibetan Book of the Dead or the Psychedelics Explorer Guide, I think it's called. Psychedelics, the Guide to Psychedelics, Tim Leary, Ram Dass. Somebody else did that one back in the 60s. It's just a translation of the principles of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But all of the different states of a trip and all of the different bad trips and things are nothing but you kind of like fixing your own energetic structure. And so if you can release into those bad trips and just go, oh, I accept this. You know, let yourself die. Let yourself turn into nothingness. Let yourself have no form and accept it. You let that sensation pass through you, and you learn to be and accept all the things, because your dissonance with what you perceive of as reality is a blockage to what is. To say, I will not feel this. Nope. So then you get in the trip, and it's a bad trip, and you go, oh, and if you go, oh, then you're in it, and if you go, oh, here I am, then you're out. When's the last connection? What are you talking about? The 12th goose? What last connection? Did somebody... Brenda, you need to come to Encinitas on a vacation, and we'll go daisy picking with Sarah and I and you on mushrooms. It'll be great. Time heals, but it's deeper than that. Time doesn't exist. You're only in a moment. Let's go to the future right now, everybody. Here we are, still in the fucking moment. What are you gonna do? You can't get there. You will only ever have your moment. In any thought of future, any thought of arrival at some time in the future, is exactly what separates you from all of it. The demand that there is a better way to be. So when you allow yourself to be in your moment and accept all of the bullshit, just like the bad trip, accept the feelings of it, and realize, oh, I'm just perceiving all of these things as a different way, then you are free in your moment, which is your future and is your past. And you are arrived, motherfucker. And get the crystal out of your ass. And stop waving all the feathers around. You don't have to. I mean, if you like it. Like, no, I'm not judging the crystal in the ass, you know. I got 2 of them in there right now. But you don't got to do it to arrive. Just do it for fun, you know. Okay, mushrooms have seriously helped me to see a lot of things. Very, very grateful for plant medicine. Yeah, great. And some people are like, oh, this will be great. I'll do it in the middle of some bullshit energy with a bunch of idiots. And then you feel all that, and you're in psychosis, and you're fucked up. If you're going to do it, make sure you got your setting right. And if you know you got some shit, which you probably do, get ready to party with it. And after you pass through it, bam. Are my parents upstairs? No, but there's a bunch of pictures of my kids that they stuck all over my house. Like this. There's Nellie. There's Rosie. On a guitar pedal. I bought them a picture thing, a little Kodak Insta picture printer thing. And then they were making buttons out of them, like a little button stamp maker. And then I was like, oh, that'd be cool. You guys could put your face on the fridge, like little faces. And then my entire house was covered with faces of the joke. It's like, oh, I'm going to go use the toilet. And there's like a bunch of kids in there. And you're like, stop, you know. I'm going to go pick this plate off the bottom of the pile. And I find my son Aiden there, stuck on a plate. I'm just like, you little bastards. Anyway. Had a bad trip about 6 months ago, and I've been hesitant on taking more, even though the times before were so peaceful. Let the trip pass through you. It's all just old karma running off. Just negative things that you're always feeling, and that opens you into that. So if you can be brave about going through it, passing through it, then you let go of it. And that's when you get healed. Or you can hit me up for an emotional alchemy session. I'll walk you through it in an unaltered state, feeling those emotions in a safe space, you know. Are you a doctor? No, I'm not. I'm just a dude that likes to skateboard and went through a lot of bullshit and did a lot of meditating and studying and figured out how to heal myself. And I'm good at talking, so not a doctor. That number is just a number, guys. What number? What are we talking about? I missed it. I had a bad trip last week. Made it. Yay. Yay. Ooh. What's the exact solution for can't sleep? We all have sleep cycles. There's a really good book called Why We Sleep. I recommend that. If you guys have problems with sleeping, maybe we'll bring some new perspective to what's going on. But our nervous systems are designed to have a normal meridian cycle. No, meridian. Not meridian. What's the word, guys? I'll remember. A normal, like, cyclical sleep cycle, right? You rest for a certain time. Your body goes into different brainwave states of cellular repair, of mental sorting. Deep sleep is cellular repair. The dream states that you remember are mental sorting in the REM cycles of sleep. Your brain effectively goes through and cleans up all of your thought processes. Oh, this goes here, that goes there, that goes there. That's when you have synaptic pruning happen. If you've not accessed an emotion or a feeling, a concept, thought, feeling, a hard thing that you've gone through, that's when it gets cut out of your upper consciousness and it goes circadian. Yes. Thank you, guys. I couldn't think, Brenda, so you're allowed to not spell. That's okay. I'm not so great at spelling either. Honestly, if it wasn't for autocorrect, it would be an absolute shit show, guys. It's all phonetic in my head. Did you get to enjoy lunch? Not yet. I had a bag of grapes, though. They were delicious. Real good ones. I usually eat fruit in the morning, and then I'm not hungry right now, so if I eat a bunch of fruit in the morning, and it's like fresh, good fruit. Then I have all of the good, fresh energy from the good, fresh fruit, and I feel light, and that's good. How can we be sure there's no observer? Why do you need to be sure of that? Ooh, tips on handling loss of a loved one. I love this one. Not that I love lost loved ones. I mean, I've had my fair share of them. My dad being particularly pertinent in my life. He died in a car accident with my grandma. And it was devastating. Just really shook me up. Business failed like 6 months afterwards. I was all depressed. And for years, I felt this like empty space of dadness, of missing my dad. This is a really good dude. And one day I was meditating and I was just sitting there with that. I was sad, feeling it, just allowing it. And I was like, man, like my dad is like in me genetically, like his energy, literally genetically. I feel the way my dad felt. I know exactly how my dad feels. All of the interactions that he had with me, energetically, speaking, being, hugging, whatever it was, are things that I know within my nervous system to feel. And so I just did a little exercise of feeling the feelings that he would, in a state of kind of open, feeling the pain of it, open neuroplasticity from the cortisol injections. Did an exercise of almost like taking on his energetic form and feeling him within me. Like all of the good feelings that what my dad would give me. All of the feelings that he had taught me. And so when I did that practice of, oh, here you are with me. All of the feelings that I know. I don't have your physical form. Which we always will lose the physical form. Just part of the exercise. It always goes away. We're all going to die. All of us. Every one of us. Hate to break it to you. But we will lose every relationship that we have. But the energy is not destroyed. It cannot be destroyed. It only changes forms. So take that energy of all of the feelings that that person taught you that you miss and replace those negative sensations with the feelings of them. And they're with you always. Worked for me. Good afternoon, you beautiful beast. What's up? How you guys doing? I'm getting all fucked up on some chocolate mint tea. Talking about shit. I did set a timer so I wouldn't go too long because I have a call coming up and I have to prepare myself for that. And probably eat some food. So, we're talking about emotions, we're talking about feelings, we're talking about healing your shit. And when we talk about healing things, we're really just coming to acceptance, coming to a space of love, coming to a space of self-acceptance. But when you feel like shit about yourself because you learned to feel that way sometime along your experience, taught by your family, conditioning, traumas, then you meta feel like that and you don't even know that you feel like that because you've always felt like that. Like if you've been here before, which many of you have, you've heard this analogy. But how do you take the toilet paper off the roll? Right now, answer the question. How do you take the toilet paper off the roll? Do you pull it off? Do you fold it, wrap it around your hand? Do you fold it? Like, how do you do it? Go. Folder. Brenda's a folder, guys. I found we have a lot of folders, so. Oh yeah, you push the tube through. That's how you do it. You pull it, wrap it, fold it, pull carefully. I like this, I like this. Wrap around the fingers, wrap around folder. Oh, a wrap around folder. And wave it around. Lisa, stop. Pull, then fold. Okay. So we all have a particular way that we ball it, I'm more of a baller, Tyack. I just kind of give a little scrunchy scrunch, Make sure you got the wrap around the fingers, protect your, just got to protect that. But we all do it different. And you do it like every day. Well, some of you maybe not every day. Some of you do it multiple times a day. You never know. We all do it differently. We all have a way of feeling it. We don't think about it. You probably had to think about it there. Oh, how do I do that? Yeah, I pull it off. But when did you start doing that? Who taught you that? Highly likely the first person that wiped your ass. They taught you how to feel it that way. And you've done it every single day since then. Now, maybe some of you conscious who were like, oh, I'm going to try a new method. I read about this on TicTok. I saw a video I'm going to try a new folder wrapper squincher method. I'm going to use Lisa's toilet paper tube method. Don't do that, guys. It's going to be a mess. But you just have been doing it the same way because that's how you feel it's done. So when you have some negative things that have been conditioned into your nervous system, just like your body just does that, it's a feeling, concept feeling. Oh, I'm just going to pull it off. You don't even think about it. You just do it. When you learn these negative self-stories, non-acceptance of self, through traumas, through somebody just being a dick, through dysregulated parents that didn't even say anything bad, but they just felt bad within themselves, and they taught you to feel that way, then you've done that ever since you learned it. Unless you became clear of it. Unless you actually went in there and felt that thing and asked yourself why you're doing that. So this is what we do in emotional alchemy sessions, helping people to discover the things that they have felt about themselves for their entire life, unbeknownst to them, and they wonder why life is hard. It's because you feel like shit. You've been feeling that ever since you learned how to feel it, and you haven't done anything about it because you don't know how to do anything about it because you felt that the way you've always felt. It's just like, oh, that's yellow, or white and yellow. You just feel that way about it because that's what you were told. Oh, that's white and that's yellow. It's a concept. Something I always felt about myself. I always felt like not good enough. I'm always like trying too hard. Probably a lot of that old church conditioning and stuff like that. It always breaks too soon, the toilet paper. Yeah, just probably feeling like not good enough, like I was fucking something up, you know? I still have feelings like that. Different people trigger things in me, and I just work through them within myself now. Some days you feel like you just can't lose. Other days your fingers go right through the toilet paper. That's some cowboy wisdom right there. You gotta say it in that drawl. Some days you feel like you just can't lose. I love couples emotional alchemy sessions. Happy to do one. It's so good. If you can get in that intimate space with each other, it creates such a more beautifully intimate space in your relationship. Because authenticity, because non-self-acceptance is also a judgment of others. Because when you don't accept it in yourself and they try to show you some love and you go, that's saying like, oh, you're not loving me right. So when you can open into that level of intimacy together, then your relationship's even better. Oh, Dr. Philism. Well, don't do it in a drawl then, but you can definitely do it with a sweet mustache. Phil has a mustache. Yeah, he has a mustache. He's got a sweet-ass mustache. Oh, yeah. He looks exactly like Kid Rock, too, if you ever noticed. Who is your mentor? You're so easy to listen to, by the way. I don't really have one. I don't have a mentor. My mentor is being. Nobody was there for me when I was all fucked up. I just had to work my way out of it. So that's why I just do it in my own way. And I make fun of all the hippies and stuff, and all the Christians, and all of the things that say you have to do it this way. Because all of those ways of doing it are just dogmas. You don't even have to do emotional alchemy. That's just my ego's way of doing it. You don't have to do it anyway. You're perfect in your moment. Just doing whatever you're doing. And it's totally fine. Ever been to PNW? That's Portland? Where's Pune? First thing you do when you feel defeated. Oh, I just stop feeling defeated. I'm like, no. As soon as I realize I'm feeling defeated, I'm like, no, that's not who I am as a person. I don't ever feel defeated anymore. I'll feel a little bit of stress every now and then. Like, oh, fuck, I gotta take care of this thing. And then I'm like, thing is taken care of. I just ground into my moment in this like, no, it's taken care of. It feels like it's taken care of. And then it's taken care of. Because I just naturally take care of the thing that needs taken care of. Because when you're like, ooh, this thing, then it scares you to do the thing. So you just change your emotions. It's kind of hard. You got a Pacific Northwest. Thanks, Zach. I didn't know what we were talking about. Where is the Pacific Northwest? North and west in the Pacific? Are we talking about just Northern California and Portland and Washington, or Oregon and Washington and things like that? Yeah, I've been up there. I dig it. I haven't been for a couple years. We went salmon fishing. Oh yeah, right at Multnomah Falls, I think, over there, right between Washington and Oregon. And in fact, we stayed in a cabin in Washington and fished in Oregon. We only caught one fish. One horny little salmon that was swimming upstream to get some, you know, right into the trap of the breeding grounds or something. I don't remember. It was something like that. What are we talking about? What time do I gotta go? I gotta get out of here about 12, guys. Oh, somebody had a good question up here. What was that one? Before the toilet paper incident. Oh, why are 12 cutes? You still here? Why are people saying we're in the 5D and shit? All right. So we have all this different dimensional thinking out there. There is the dimensions of string theory, which is a theory that intertwines Newtonian physics and quantum physics. This is a 10-dimensional way of looking at things, I believe. 10 dimensions. That's one-dimensional thing. So that's just breaking the whole thing up into 10 categories of perception, the whole electromagnetic spectrum. We perceive it this way, 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 kind of thing like that. Just helps your ego grok it a little bit. And then there's the hippies of the 5D consciousness, which are effectively waiting for the second coming of Christ. They're waiting for a Messiah, for them to ascend into the fifth dimension, and they view themselves as a beam of light or something like that. Which honestly sounds really awkward to me, because the way light works, like if you were to actually turn into a beam of light, your atoms would have to be spinning so fast, like really getting real fast. And from the point that you are now in a meat suit to the point when you attain light, there would be get real hot, really sweaty, like we're talking colossal sweating, highly dehydrated. Your clothes would definitely burn off, your skin would burn off your bones. It'd be real meaty smelling, just barbecue-like, but not the good kind, you know, like human flesh smells. And then you would just disintegrate into some photons that hold no physical form. They have no mass. So people get confused when we talk about this stuff. If you want to be in the fifth dimension, a higher consciousness, just learn to have a better attitude and work on your own shit. Stop pointing the fingers out at other people. If you could recommend one book for overall self-healing, what would it be? How to Do the Work. Whatever her name was that wrote it. Great book. That one's a good kind of overview of all this stuff. It's called How to Do the Work. Had psychosis from trips and my perception of reality got inconsistent. How to reground myself. Okay. When you go on a trip and you have like hallucinogenic persistent perception disorder or something like that, got flashbacks, psychosis, things like that. What happens is, in that trip, you have a natural energetic field that is your you-ness, that you're putting out from the piezoelectric effect of your bones, your pineal gland, creating a toroidal field of energy around your you-ness. It's the same as like an atom has a field of energy. You got a field of energy. We all got a field of energy. People call it an aura and stuff like that. There are radiology images of it. We can actually take pictures of this thing. Everyone's a field of energy. That's why you can feel other people. I mean, it's just atoms are a bunch of magnets anyway. Like you've never touched another human. None of your atoms are touching. They're all suspended magnetically. You have never touched another person. You have only felt their energy. Never physically touched them. Like we are just energy. So that psychosis and things like that get opened up in a state of trips, or even in THC when it breaks down your endocannabinoid system, which is massively a part of your energetic field. That THC molecule gets in there, and you get in that time warp when your brain goes zoink out into Nowhereville, out into all infinite possibilities. Well, all of those infinite possibilities are there, mathematically speaking. Those electron fields of the atom can be configured in any which way. So psychosis is just a state of kind of infinite possibilities. And so you, instead of having a moment with feeling, and what happens in the trips is it opens up these negative energetic sensations, it opens up an old emotions and things like that. You feel these things that you've been able to energetically block within your own system, which are end up giving you gas and things like that, so get them out anyway. And then that feeling triggers you into a state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, generally flight. We run away in our own minds because we cannot handle the feelings of the sensation. And so we run out into some infinite possibilities, which is what psychosis is. All of the possibilities that are there at all times, you just feel them, concept, feeling, and you run away from yourself into possibility. And then it gets real weird trying to be a human when you're in a state like that. So to ground back in from that, one, understand that you have opened yourself up to a greater realm of understanding, right? It's like the mantis shrimp can see a whole bunch more colors than we can, just the way their optical nerve is set up. You see this entire spectrum of light when we only see this tiny little spectrum of light. So you're feeling through opening up through that journey or journeys, you're feeling more of everything around you. Now, when you feel more of everything around you, they're also going to trigger your traumas and the feelings that you have been hiding away from. And so now that you are attuned to greater feelings of everything around you, you are more possible to trigger, which will send you into a state of psychosis. How long am I good to keep my mushrooms before they're bad to eat? I don't know. I think they can last for a while. Keep them in the freezer, I think. Helps the psilocybin not break down. I don't know a ton about it, honestly. I was brought up in a strict Christian family in North Island, and I just don't get any religion of any kind. I believe it was just the law of the land, depending on whereabouts and your word. Thoughts? All right. Anytime you get a religion, you inherently limit the whole. You inherently limit God. A religion is a protection mechanism to say this is the way it is. It is a group ego. This is the way it is. Type black line. Anything outside of this thing that we understand is scary, so we will say this is God. Oh, God. It's like, go back to ancient times, Lightning comes fucking shooting out of the sky, right? You're just doing your thing with a stick, like poking a bear or whatever you do back then. Running around a little skirt with a bronze sword. And lightning comes out of the sky and blows up a tree and kills a dude, You're like, fuck, you got smited. What was that episode of Rick and Morty when he fought? He's like, oh, it's just a Zeus. Did you try to smite me? Oh, shit. Anyway. God, no, it was funny. Oh, man. Did he really try to smite me? So we have this, some event outside of our understanding. And in ancient times, they're like, oh, must be the man in the sky shedding lightning bolts. Like, don't piss him off, everybody, And then we realize, oh, there's just static electricity that builds up on the surface of the earth and discharges into the cloud, Lightning actually comes from the earth to the cloud, not from the cloud to the earth. In case you were wondering. So anything we don't understand, we always say, oh, it's God. That's why every quantum physicist and quantum mechanic guy and gal is just like, they get to the end of this, all these little muons and nuons and quarks buzzing around and doing things that are completely incomprehensible. And they go, fuck, it must be God, But then we always build a bigger microscope when we discover a new layer of order. We go, oh, I get this. And then there's a new layer of disorder the farther you look. Because it's all constantly going back into itself and you never get to the end of it. So we build these little religions and we say, this is the way it must be. And it's just a protection mechanism. And we all do it. We mirror neuron off each other and stuff like that. We feel each other's energy, and we try to assimilate to each other's energy for tribal protection. It's like in our genetics, so we don't get attacked by bears, so we can work together and stuff like that. It's just the way the meat suit works. Haven't done hallucinogenics since 1993. Sort of concerned about doing them again. Starting small seems good. Oh yeah, just go mellow. Here's the thing. Get a good environment. You will feel all of the things around you, so don't go to the fucking bar or the concert and do it, right? Go out in the woods. Be in your house. Put an eye mask on in a safe space. Listening to look up a playlist. Just do them light. You don't got to go heavy. You can just fuck your ego up a little bit and feel a little bit of feelings and unpack those. Because hallucinogenics are not even good without the integration. So feel it a little bit. Have a new concept. Oh, I never realized that. Because when you have, psilocybin or something like that, it breaks open neuroplasticity and you can actually have new learning events. And then when you're done, you go ahead and say, this is a new way to feel that I've learned. This is a new concept. I'm going to integrate this into my life and I'm going to practice being this before you go back to it. Because if you just keep going back, you keep opening yourself up to more possibilities without learning how to do possibilities, and then you're in psychosis. What's up, baby says? Hello there. Hey, look, it's the guy with the face. Yeah, it is the guy with the face. Hey, man. Yo, 141. I would absolutely love to do that. Crap. Oh, yeah. Bit of a bear when I poke at Christianity. Oh, I could rant. I got some good rants on Christianity. Actually, in my podcast, the last episode I did is called Why I Left Christianity, and I explain all about all sorts of shit. All the stuff from, you'd probably love it. Thank you. I got the hairs cut a little bit ago. I was a little disappointed, though, because I had the mullet going pretty good. It was getting long. I was gonna go hard mullet this summer, just flowing in the wind. And I talked to the lady, Angie, new lady. And I was like, Angie, I want business on the sides, party on the top, and a fucking rager in the back. And she's like, you have some dead ends, which is code for I'm going to cut your fucking mullet off. So now it's okay, but it had to be like 2 inches longer. I was really going to go for a flowing one, but here we are. I let it go. I haven't listened to Lee Carroll, no, but maybe I should. Guy with the face. What's up, Chris? Hello. Good to see you. What are your thoughts on starting to make some kind of art? Do it. Do you want to do it? Does that tickle you? You're like, I want to do that. You do it. You want to. Look at you thinking about it. Do the fucking thing. And anytime you feel it's not good enough, be like, why would I feel that way about myself? Because it's just an expression. What's the difference between an artist that, throws some paint on a wall and everyone's like, fuck you, and an artist that throws some paint on the wall and sells it for $1 million? It's the way they feel about themselves. Do you have enough confidence to throw some fucking paint on the wall and sell it for $1 million? Someone's going to buy it. Or someone will be like, fuck you for throwing that paint on the wall if you don't believe in yourself. So if you want to make art, you're feeling like you should do that, go do the thing. And you'll help yourself work through your limiting self-belief systems by making it. And choose. Maybe put some big, heavy red sunglasses on, or, the clear frame sunglasses, and just be like, oh, I am an artist. Figure yourself out. Hairdressers always love to take my power. She stole my mullet power, Oh, use coconut oil on your hair after you wash it. You love my color palette. Thank you. Even though you were just a gray icon here with gray username, I kind of like that color palette too. Simple, Simple. So yo, 141. Just do some fucking art. It doesn't matter what it looks like. If it comes out of you and you're like, that came out of me, then it's your art. And it doesn't matter if somebody likes it or not. Now there's always, getting better at your craft. And the more you believe in yourself, the better it's going to get. So get after it, Confidence is everything in all this stuff. How you are perceived by others is your own confidence within yourself. And confidence, the way we think of it, doesn't have to be that dickish, like big truck, small dick confidence. It can simply be being. It's the blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Acceptance of all things allows you to be with all things, which inherently makes you confident because you're not trying to push any of it away. You don't have anything to prove. And then all of it is yours. Send love to your hippie chickens for me. Oh, love. Send love. I will go outside. I don't know where they are right now, but they'll probably come into my yard very soon, and I'll be like, I love you chickens so much, just for you. What's a good method to be vulnerable with your partner if they show signs of being fearful and avoid? Okay. Austin Ladd. I'm assuming. All right. So in partnerships, vulnerability is always key. If somebody is scared of that vulnerability, they're scared of themselves. They're scared of whatever space that they built you up to be that is covering for something of their own. So be in a partnership where you can be absolutely vulnerable. Because what's the fucking point of a partnership? You just want to have like masturbation with more work? Like, no. Like, it's a connection there. It's a mirror. It's a mirror of others to see your own shit. So you see your own shit within them because you feel it. Because the closer you let them get to you, the more you feel your own negative self-stories. And then the more that's the thing you need to work on. To be one with everything. To accept all the things. Been reading Untethered Soul, and it's amazing. Oh, I love that book. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Untethered Soul is great. Michael Singer, awesome. I love Surrender Experiment too, which is his story getting to the point of Untethered Soul. But Michael Singer's work is fantastic. I really love. When I read his stuff, I was like, my man, like, this is how I get it. This is how I feel. I love this. And then he even expanded that more for me. So I love it. His stuff is rad. Surrender Experiment's awesome. This is a great story. I mean, that guy just wanted to go meditate in the woods and be a hippie, you know? And he built himself a little cabin, and he had chosen to the Surrender Experiment. He had chosen to, it's kind of how he got to the Untethered Soul. He had chosen to, he's like, I just want to be connected. But I, like, understanding that it all is, like, I will accept what comes my way. I will surrender as I practice. I will surrender to whatever comes my way. What's up, Ryan? You get another date yet or what, dude? Anyway, he just built himself a little cabin out in the woods, and then somebody was like, can you build a cabin for me? And he's like, okay, cool. You know, came his way, and he ended up with a construction company building all these beautiful cabins. And then he ended up, basically, long story short, he ended up with this massive companies, like millions of dollars, didn't want it, was just trying to go meditate in the woods. And it just kept coming his way, and he ended up building this amazing, beautiful, like meditation and healing retreat center. So it was like ultimately what he wanted, but way better than he ever could have imagined by surrendering to the process. It was cool. Aloe vera spray for my burnt face. Okay, deal. Alexander, what's up? I'm listening to the book Power Now, Eckhart Tolle. That's a great one. I like that one too. I got a couple copies of that, and I've listened to it as well. I don't know why I have a couple copies of it. I think somebody gave me one, and I have another one. Yeah. I should write one. I'm just writing a book on TikTok. You know, if you look, there's like 800 videos or something of me ranting about shit. But it's like when you write it down, it's like, I kind of like TikTok because it just disappear. It's like the Buddha was like, all right, if you see me on the road, not the Buddha, but one of his disciples, I don't remember which guy. He was like, look, if you see the Buddha on the road, you kill him. Like, the state of beingness that the Buddha was trying to teach has nothing to do with the modality of Buddhism. You see these ideas pop up anywhere and kill it. Because you can't be if there is an ideal of being. You know? Ryan! You look at me, Ryan. You canceled the date? Lost connection? Good connection. You guys still there? I lost connection for a second. I don't know why. Oh, anyway, I was just yelling at Ryan in case we lost the connection. You're going to book a date again, dude. Face those fears, right? Book it. And all your thoughts of booking it, like, all of your thoughts of booking it and the fear, go into the feelings of that. Feel into that and ask yourself why you'd be feeling that way. Because when you find the bottom of why you're feeling that way, you're going to unpack the fear. And you're not going to have that anxiety anymore. So use it as a tool. Like, that's fucking great. Get in the suck. Like, use the experience of life. Use the pain to teach you why you're running away from yourself. Then you get another date and it'll be cool. You know, you're going to score. All right. Hey, just wanted to say I experienced a lot of liberating energy here with your labs. Good. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're doing it. My neurophysiologist has asked me to deliver a course in mindfulness for people with brain injuries. Ooh. That sounds intriguing. That sounds kind of fun. Elon got Twitter. I saw something about that. Good work. Do people use Twitter still? Have you ever pranked a dude by coming in them? Nope. No, I have not. I've never come in a dude. Just haven't been real interested in it. Yep, serious imposter syndrome. Okay, when you have that imposter or syndrome strike, ask yourself why you would feel like an imposter, right? Like you have been asked by a neurophysiologist, big words today, to do it. So they believe in you. I believe in you. Just do the fucking thing from your heart. Don't do it from your head. What does it feel like? Bring that out. Can you carry yourself with complete comfort? What did it take? You carry yourself. Oh, it took a bunch of big hits and destruction of everything that I thought was the right way to do it and getting all fucked up on life and then realizing that I was the common denominator of all my problems. I have no one else to blame and I should probably learn how to feel my feelings. So then I learned how to feel my feelings, and I found they were all connected to all these subconscious negative self-belief systems and stuff. And then once I unpacked those, I was like, oh, I just get to be whatever I want. And so I do that because it's fun. You can't be with the idea of being happening in your mind. Yep. You found your vape. Good job. See, you didn't need all that anxiety the other day. Any tips on irritability? Whenever you're irritable, be like, why would I be irritable? Come on, because of this. Well, why would I feel that way? Well, because this person, this. Why would I feel that way? I'm the one in charge of my feelings. And just keep asking yourself dumb questions, you know? And then eventually, you get to the bottom of it. And you're free. You got this. I'm out of tea. I gotta pee. And I'm feeling free. That was your rhyme for the day. I'm going to get out of here, guys. We get centered up before my next call. If anybody needs help working through your shit, unpacking your emotions, and getting free into a beautiful space, I would love to help you. Please get on the website, danieltyack.com. It's really just a contact form. I've not done anything important on it. One day I'm going to actually develop it, and there'll be some online learning modules and things. But the rest of the time, it's way more fun to go skate with the kids and like bang the lovely Sarah. Oh, the lovely Sarah. You know, it's like there's stuff to do. Just go hit the contact form up. Schedule a call. The lovely Sarah will get in touch with you. She'll get you scheduled. She can do the call. She's amazing at it. I can do the call. She will discuss all the things. And if any of you just need a coaching call, you can do hour coaching calls talking through all this stuff where you're like, I need to figure some of this shit out. I'll happily deconstruct your brain and let you get into a moment. We don't even have to go into the big feeling things because a lot of times, somebody just needs a little conceptual tweak and then they're doing a lot better, So hit up that contact form. I'd love to work with you. This lovely Sarah would love to work with you. And we'll see you guys all later.